Let's imagine that you have a project and you need additional visuals. So you go to a visual effects house or a virtual production company and you tell them what you want and they will come up with it. And it might take them a number of days, weeks, depending on the complexity and how fast you want it and how much you are willing to pay. So that's how the industry works. Now, OpenAI has announced Sora and Google has also announced Lumiere. And then you input that same information as a prompt, and within seconds or minutes, this is what they come up with. And I really need you to understand what it is that you've just seen. In a matter of minutes, you've done away with your camera crew, your actress, your art direction, your production team. You don't need to travel to whatever it is that you need to go. Your camera costs, everything has gone, and you just left with this incredible looking footage. And if you work in the audiovisual industry, in visual effects, in film and television in any capacity, you really need to be looking and paying attention to this, because this is gonna transform the way we all do work, for good and bad, because there are many people that are going to lose their jobs. There are going to be careers that are going to be destroyed. There are going to be a lot of young people that are going to be left wondering, what it is that I need to study, if anything? Because if I was a 17 or 18-year-old kid wanting to get into the film and TV industry, I would be absolutely terrified with this, because I don't know what's going to be relevant, not just 5 or 10 years down the line, but a year from now. Only 10 months ago, you had this video of Will Smith eating pasta that you could literally tell that was absolute garbage. And within a year, we come down to this level of quality and photorealism. You can only imagine what it's going to be like in a year, 2 years down the line. Literally, with just a few prompts, you get high resolution images that look so good that it's scary. You also have, for instance, image to video, stylized generation, video stylization, cinemagraphs, and video in painting, which means that you are going to be able to feed a specific image of an actor or a city or an environment, and the AI is going to be able to create everything based on that you've given them. So it's not now a matter of, oh, this is something that the AI has generated and I might like it more or less, or this may or may not be what I want. It's that you are going to be able to refine that and get specifically what you want. Aerial photography, that's going to have a massive impact, because if you look at what you can do with Google Earth Studio already, and it's a free tool, it's insane. And let's say that Google Lumiere links up to Google Maps and you get all this satellite data. The images that you are going to be able to generate with Google Lumiere are going to be absolutely amazing. This is going to transform, sadly, so many jobs. But not just aerial photography, helicopter and video work, that's going to be severely disrupted. Even actors and actresses in general, anybody working in the visual effects industry, they should be very worried, because the departments are going to slim down. If you are a business and you have a department of 200 or 300 people working on specific shots, and you then have access to this technology that can literally do with 90% of that workforce, and yet you still charge the same for the same results, you are going to do it. They are going to do it. If they can make 3 times, 4 times, 10 times the profit, they will do it. You need to be prepared for that. If you think this is not going to affect your life in any way, you are delusional. There are already reports that, for instance, in the UK, Beck2 has released recently a study where they surveyed over 4,000 freelance professionals, and people are struggling, okay? This is happening already. The industry did not recover after COVID. Then we had the strikes in the US, and there is a lot of people that were already struggling then. And if you live in the US and you think that you are somehow magically protected from this, think twice, because things are not much better over there. Because according to a study from the Hollywood Reporter, over 2/3 of firms in Hollywood are considered early adopters of AI technology. And roughly 1/3 of the respondents of that survey predict that AI is going to displace sound editors, 3D modelers, recording mixes, audio and video technicians, and visual effects artists, and all within 3 years. 3 years, that's very, very short amount of time for someone to pivot their careers and do something. A quarter said that sound designers, compositors, and graphic designers are also likely to be affected, and many of them are already affected. And look, by 2026, and that's only 2 years down the line, 1/3 of respondents said that over 20% of all entertainment industry jobs, or roughly 118,500 jobs, will be cut. Over 80% of the early adopters are in the post-production industry. This is happening, and it's happening fast, and the level of quality is mind-blowing. The photorealism is insane. If you are a creative that is leading a project, a filmmaker or a content creator, this is fantastic, because you can now come up with anything in your head, and you'll be able to have a visual within a matter of minutes or hours at worst. And that's insane compared to having to come up with a brief and reach out to a visual effects house or a 3D animator, and the whole process could literally take days or weeks. You'll be able to now do it within minutes. And if this follows a process similar to what you can do with Midjourney, you're gonna be able to create different versions within a matter of seconds just by clicking a button. This is mad, and it will happen. And look at how fast and good the renders from Midjourney have become over the last 2 years. There are gonna be so many areas that this is gonna touch that is really hard to get your head around. But look, this is what happened in early 2000s when WordPress came out, and companies that they were doing websites and web design, they would be charging thousands of dollars to come out with websites, and there was a massive difference between the high-end work and the average person. Then WordPress came about in early 2000s, I think it was in 2003, and the whole model went up in flames, because suddenly you could come up with really high-end designs from your bedroom, and you didn't have to pay the extortionate fees that these companies were getting away with. And I think that this is what's going to happen. The high-end work is going to still be there, but the gap between the high-end work and the average work is going to be reduced significantly, because you are now going to be able to come up with photorealistic visual effects or visuals literally from your bedroom. And don't be fooled by those that will inevitably come up saying that this is not going to be as transformative as people think, that not all the jobs that people worry about are going to disappear, that an AI generated image is not going to be able to capture the human emotion. Look at the eyes of this animation. Look at the feeling that is there. Can you imagine what this technology is going to be able to do in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? If you're a visual effects house, you might have an entire department that is just deals with prompting for the AI engines. So that might be a job that some people might get into, and it's hard to predict where the industry is going to go. And you will still need a human eye to confirm that what is being generated is good. AI is not going to destroy all the jobs because it's too generic. If you have a client that wants to advertise a particular product in their environment, or they have a very unique idea, you still need to have custom-made video and graphics for it. And an AI engine is going to struggle to come up with those visuals. And if you are creating something that is new and unique, the AI is not going to be able to do it. And this comes down also to safety and protection. Politicians are grossly unprepared for the roles that they hold. And this is so far beyond what they do. They just can't even grasp it. And if you need an example of this, you just need to look at the questions that the CEO for Meta and Google were asked when they were sitting and questioned by Congress, some of the questions that these politicians were coming up, they were laughable. And these are the people that are legislating. I think companies are going to have to come up with some safety guidelines and protections. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. If I can go to a computer and type anything that comes to mind and the computer generates that within a few minutes, and I don't need to go onto a Unreal Engine or buying any assets and then bring it into a virtual production environment with trackers and the whole equipment, and I can just literally have it done right there in front of me. Well, it's a no-brainer. I am going to take advantage of that. And many people think like me, and let's not be hypocritical here. If it's gonna make my life a lot easier, I will use this technology. And like me, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of creatives are gonna do the same thing, and companies are going to do the same thing. If there is one thing that ChatGPT has showed us, is that companies are willing to compromise on the quality of the service that they provide if they can save on costs. So rather than having 10, 15, 20, 100 copywriters working for a particular company, you might have 2 or 3. I genuinely believe that this is where the industry is heading to. Within 2 or 3 years, I can guarantee you that it's going to be so difficult to tell the difference between what is being generated by a human filming a human person and what is being generated by an AI rendering a human. You are not going to be able to tell the difference. And that's just the reality of it. So accept it or don't accept it. Choose to be realistic or delusional. Brace yourselves, because it's about to get bumpy, really. And I hope I'm not coming across as all gloom and doom, because that's not my intention. This is going to be amazing for many people. Every 5 or 10 years, there is a new technology that we all need to get used to or address or get familiar with, and this is now AI. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this technology, how you think it's going to impact you, or whether it has already impacted you. Let's have a conversation going, because I would love to hear what all of you guys have to say, and I'll see you in the next one.